What is up, guys? Coop here, and today we're going to be looking at BattleTech. This is just going to be a quick look. We're not going to go into a full-blown review or anything. I basically just wanted to jump in and talk about this game because this game is actually pretty cool. So, how exactly would I best describe BattleTech? I would describe it as sort of this giant mech paradise. It's a lot of different factions and things sort of battling it out with their giant mechs. The best way to describe it kind of gameplay-wise, it is the mech version of XCOM. So you have your troops, your different mechs, and everything else that goes along with it. You kind of build your own unique mech squad. You have your different mech pilots and your different mechs and your different items and things that you put on them and different things along the way. You end up taking contracts and making money for your own personal business as you try to develop yourself into a really good mercenary company. And there's a lot of other story moments along the way, but I don't want to give any spoilers for this. This is just basically to kind of show you in depth a little bit of what this game is about and is it worth the money. So let's actually dive in. Alright, so diving into the game, this is sort of like your main menu. This is sort of your go-to place usually when you're in between missions and doing different things. So there's a variety of different things, and the screen can look very sort of intimidating at first, but as time goes on you will really start to understand this, and it will really start to make a lot more sense as time goes on. So the first thing is over here is your finances. This is pretty much how much money you pretty much cost a month. You've got things like trying to pay for your people, your different mechs, repairs, all this variety of different stuff along the way. You have stuff in your tech points here, which tech points are generated each day and spent to repair and customize mechs. Tech points only apply one mech at a time. And then you have your medical mechs, which are basically points generated to help apply to sort of your injured Mech Warriors. So in combat, a lot of things happen, and you start to slowly take damage, and you do have to pay for those. So this is actually kind of a resource management and kind of punishes you if you do play lazily. So it's very important, especially when going forward with the game, to understand fully that you are more of a business and less of sort of just a squad that just goes out and has somebody that pays the bills. You are the one that pays the bills. And as you can see here, you have a financial report that comes in every once in a while, and you get to kind of choose how you want to do your finances. So that's something we could dive in a little bit more into. I don't want to drown you guys in that, but that's basically what that is. Next you have, depending on which planet you live on, the hiring hall, which allows you to buy different Mech Warriors and things. And then it shows you how much they cost to recruit, and then it shows you their basic salary. So keep in mind, you can have a bunch of like your best team out there, and if you get one injured, then you kind of lose that Mech Warrior, and then you probably don't have somebody to pilot your mech. So it is very important that when you do that, that you do actually hire different people along the way so that you can level them up. Now later on, there are a little bit higher sort of mech tiers out there. So as you can see here, this one has very solid stats of a 6 there and a 6 there and a 5 there. However, we do need to get our MRB rating up, which as we do more missions, as we kind of develop a little bit more of a name for ourselves, it'll be very easy to accomplish. So that's looking at that. Also, you can look at the store. The store basically is where you can buy a bunch of like different parts. So what you usually do is you buy like different parts for the mech. You need 3 parts in order to make a mech, and basically that's one of the things that you can do. So as you can see here, I have a variety of different mechs I can look at and try to get parts for to make this mech. So, you know, as time goes on, you destroy your mechs, and you're going to kind of want to pick up more mechs along the way. So basically the idea is you don't want to have just a solid team that you just always stick with. You also want to make sure that you upgrade your mechs, put different things in due to your different builds, and it does take time. But you can also sell as well if you do start to get tight on the cash. Now, next we're going to be looking at contracts. These are the bread and butter. These are the main things of the game besides story segments, which as time goes on, I don't want to spoil a lot of spoilers for you guys, but basically as time goes on, you will be doing these on the side while doing some of the main missions along the way. And as you can see here, it talks about the max pay and the max salvage that you can get, and then it shows you the layers of difficulty, how much reputation you can get, and things of that nature. And then it has a symbol of who it is for. And then as you can see here in this corner here, it tells you that you have to travel for a certain amount of time. So it takes 17 days to get there. So 17 days is very important because obviously we still have our bills that we have to pay. So we have to make sure that we do a nice balance of understanding that travels cost money while also trying to do contracts, while not trying to do too many, because then that can destroy your mechs. The first beginning stages of the game gets a little rough, but that's basically the general gist of how that works. You can also talk to your crew members as well. Now, let's actually look at Mech Warriors, because Mech Warriors are very interesting. They are the actual pilots of the mechs, and they have their own unique stats and abilities as well. So depending on what points you put into, you have a variety of different ways that you can go about it. So with this, you can get like a certain giant perks, and then you can also get little points that you can put into overall increase certain stats. So for example, putting points into gunnery helps out with making, well, your guns hurt more. But along the way, you can pick up perks like multi-target, where you can split your guns into multiple different targets. And then of course you get a nice passive ability which allows you to ignore cover or guarded on a target. So that's really cool as well. Piloting increases basically your melee hit and makes it to where you're more steady, allowing you to gain a evasive charge on movement actions. So that's really nice. You gain an extra one there. And then this one allows you to, it can move after shooting if it has not moved yet. So you can shoot and then move over somewhere else. Very good for like a scout or a sniper based class. Next is Guts. Guts adds a extra 1 health and recoil penalty. What is nice is it helps increase your maximum amount of injuries. So if you look at Glitch, she can only take 3. This one can take 4. And that's very important because you want to make sure that your mech pilots kind of stay alive a decent amount. And if they stay alive, they are able to do a hell of a lot more for you. And this is where they gain the passive of Guarded, which basically does a 50% reduction on range attacks to the front and the side when remaining stationary. So sometimes you have a really good position, especially if you're heavier mech and you really don't want to move. You don't have to move, and you still get the nice cover and 50% less damage from that. So very nice indeed over there. And then also they gain a passive, which on successful melee hits knocks down the target down 1 in the initiative phase. So very helpful there. Now, if we actually look at tactics, which I forget who my tactics guy is. There we go. Basically, they have an indirect fire penalty, which is very important, especially later on. They have sensor lock, which basically allows you to reveal a target, and they lose 2 of their evasive charges, which allows you to do a heck of a lot more damage. Like I said, though, this probably seems like nonsense, but once we get in the combat section, it makes a lot more sense. And then over here, mech piloted by this mech gains +1 in initiative and remove 1 bar of stability when reserving. So super nice there altogether. So that's basically how Mech Warrior sort of stats go all together. Now let's actually take a look at the mechs, because those are sort of the main bread and butter and the main things that you guys really care about and the main things that you see. So as you can see here, there's a variety of different types of mechs. Right now I think we're rocking a bunch of light and mediums, but basically there's 3 different types of mechs, and 3 different main playstyles that you have. You have your smaller ones, which are basically your scouts, and they run around and they sensor lock things and remove the charges on stuff so that your bigger mechs can shoot at them. So these guys are very light, and they're able to run around all over the place super fast and get things done that you need done. And then you have things like your bigger mechs, like this one right here, which runs in and just shoots the hell out of it. So you use this guy to sensor lock, you use this guy to be your sort of fighter. And then you have other types, which, if I could find it, actually I think the Vindicator is the one that has like the best melee. But basically you have your different types of mechs for your different occasions. For example, the Blackjack is not so much one that you want to use for melee, and not so much one that you want to use for scouting, but more of just one that you kind of put up on a hill and you shoot the target down as much as possible. So that's one of the ways that you can do it. Now, there's a variety of other different ways that you can do your mechs and everything. It's a mech customization game, as you can see here. If I go to refit, I can actually put different types of weapons and things on there. So it's very customizable, and it takes a lot of time and sort of effort to eventually learn it, but once you learn it, it's very easy. Now keep in mind, as you can see here, there is different ways of repairing and refitting and fitting everything together. And one of the things that's really nice is you can actually dump some points into your tonnage to increase sort of the metal plating of your sort of body parts. So if you have all your stuff in one area but nothing on the other, you can get rid of all the armor that's on here and put it somewhere else. So very helpful hint for the future. So say like I have 2 large lasers here but nothing over here, I could put all my armor into this instead of over here. So makes it very nice. So yeah, we'll just, I mean, I didn't really do anything. And then we'll go back to here where we can actually look at the star map to show you guys how big the actual game world is. So as you can see here, there's a lot of different stuff around here, a lot of different factions. So there's a lot of different, like, I guess, types of factions that you can deal with and everything, and a lot of different planets and things that you can also explore as well. One of the things that's really nice is it shows you, like, hey, this is restricted until your debt is paid. And it shows you also, like, some of the different attributes that it has. And we'll get into more of those attributes in different videos. It's going to take a lot of time to kind of learn those, but as time goes on, it'll be very easy and nice for you to learn as well. So let's go back here. And the last thing I wanted to show you guys is kind of pretty much, you can customize your company by choosing the different colors, but also how it actually works with the finances. So the finances, you see how much your estimated costs are, how much your stability costs are, and salaries, and then also your morale. Morale basically affects kind of how things go about. So specifically, it depends on how well your combat will go, if your people are inspired, just in general, a lot of different variety of things. So as you guys can see here, there's a nice little tooltip that you guys can read, because morale's kind of like its own thing that I have to kind of separately talk about. But basically, in general, you want to have a decent, good amount of morale, because it helps keep your people good at their job and doing their job efficiently. So anyways, let's dive into combat. Alright, so let's actually dive into the combat. So this is kind of like the main bread and butter, the sort of actual things that you're going to be doing within the game. So jumping into the game, you have a variety of different types of mechs and a variety of different playstyles depending on what type of mechs you are. So we have like Massive. He has a Centurion, which is a more of a medium, sort of heavy tanky type of character. He's not so good at pretty much doing death from above and stuff. Actually, he doesn't even have it, which I'll explain that more in like other videos in the future. But basically, you have your typical different moves. You have your attack, your move, your sprint, which sprint allows you to run across longer areas, but it takes up a full action. Move is a half action, and then you get to do another action on top of that. You have Sensor Lock, which allows you to basically, for a round, remove 2 of your evasive charges, which I'll explain that in a bit too. And then, of course, you have Multi-Target, which you can hit multiple different targets with different guns depending on what you do. And then Brace, which basically just gives you guarded and reduces a little bit of the damage that you would take in stability. So, basically, traditionally, when you do this, you want to move into different things here. And now you have these little charges here, which they kind of look like little arrows pointing to the right, and that is Evasion Charges. Evasion Charges allow you to take less damage. So, you might be wondering, well, how does that exactly work? Well, for example, the Centurion is a really heavy mech. It could take some fucking damage. It is the tanky of all, like, pretty much Mech Warrior type of stuff. So, when using him, it's very important that, you know, you can have him in the front lines and be okay. But, what you can do, like what I'm about to do here, is you can put him in cover. So, have him move over here. Put him in cover. He gains an extra charge here, allowing him to be very protected as well. However, due to him being a heavier mech, he doesn't get as many charges as, say, these would. So, as you can see here, mine has a lot of charges because he has cover, and then on top of it, he sprinted. And then from here, you get to kind of attack which targets you want. As you can see here on the far right side, you can see the percentage and how much damage they would do. So you have 85% chance, we have that. So we have more of a chance of hitting with all 3 of these, and then a chance of hitting those a little bit better. With this scenario, though, we're probably going to hit the one in the back. He's pretty weak, so we'll just do that. Shoot it off there. And boom. These are lighter-based vehicles, very easy to kill. They're kind of a joke. So, now in the future, there will be actually legitimate mechs and everything. I just wanted to kind of show you this because it's one of the best ways. So, as you can see here, this person has Overheating. So overheating is something that happens every time you do a major action. So as you attack, as you use a lot of your different abilities and things, as you use stuff like Death from Above, which basically allows you to jump jet and move to where you need to go, it basically makes it to where you overheat, and if you overheat, it's not good. Your mech can actually shut down and do absolutely nothing for you. So for this character, we don't want to really shoot. We're going to move her over here to give her some extra cover and everything. So right there we got evasive and we got cover. So cover will help us take a little bit less damage. So as you can see here, it takes 25% less damage in ranged attacks. And then we have our evasive charges, which basically allow us to get some extra cover. Here we go. So it allows us to have a +4 difficulty to be hit by ranged attacks. So really helpful in all that. Now, I could attack, however, this has danger of overheating. So I really don't want to overheat because when you overheat, you take structure damage. So it's more important right now that I just basically brace myself, allowing myself to cool down a little bit so that I can do some more actions in the future. Now we have my little mech here. Now we're going to try to do sprint real quick to show you what happens when you actually sprint. It takes a full action, and you might be saying, well, wouldn't that be a bad thing? However, of having my mech run all the way over there, he gains an evasive charge and cover, and a little bit extra due to him. So as you can see here, he has 4 evasive charges here, and then on top of it is guarded. So he takes a lot less damage. As you can see there, took not that much damage at all. That would have actually took usually a few bars of health there. So that's very important, especially when going forward. Now that we kind of understand it, let us actually dive in and kill these guys real quick. So, we got our good guy here. I'm going to move him to get some better quality shots. And give him some nice little cover a little bit. And then we get to choose our target. So we have a 90% chance, but a 50% chance there. So it's better to just shoot this guy because we can get the maximum amount of damage. Probably destroy that vehicle right off the bat. So, that helps us out a lot in the long run. And let's see if I can't show you guys some melee. So this person can do melee, this one cannot. What we'll probably do is, we'll probably just move her here. Just because it's a tutorial, I'll take some damage and everything, but traditionally you don't want to take much damage when you're out here, because you will have to pay for mech repairs and everything, as I've shown you guys previously. So that's very important, especially when jumping into the game. So we're going to go here real quick. I just want to show you guys melee, because that's one of the ways you can actually do damage. Otherwise, this little guy would be destroyed by now. So he's getting a little closer, probably trying to get a better shot because of this rock cover. It's very important, especially where you put yourself on the map. When you put yourself on the map, you basically want to kind of strategically place your chess pieces where you want. You want to make sure that you understand the opponents, you understand your different types of mechs. You can have a lot of light mechs and then run around and get evasion charges the entire time. So, we're going to run over here. This guy is meant for melee, so I'm going to run over here and attack. So he's just going to run up and punch this. Bam! Or stomp on it. Hey, that works too. So. Also, I've seen tooltips in the past that say that mechs do more damage to land-based or smaller-based vehicles. Now, one of the other things I also wanted to talk about is Death from Above, but it seems like I don't have access to that. But basically, Death from Above is a major damaging move where basically your mech jumps on top of the other mech. However, you take a lot of damage, but they take a lot of damage, and it's kind of like a suicide jump sort of mechanic to overall make it to where you deal a lot more damage, and at the same time do stuff that would basically, it's kind of like a last ditch move. If you know you're going to die, or he's at really low life and you're at decent enough life and you don't think you're going to win, you use Death from Above and just jump on him. Now obviously later on you get a little bit more cooler abilities and all that, but that's half of the fun of diving into the game, and we will dive into that in future guides in the future. Anyways, guys, that was BattleTech. Basically, I just wanted to do a quick look and show you guys this awesome game. There's a reason why it's one of the best sellers on Steam at the moment. It's basically the XCOM with mechs. It's really good. I really enjoyed my time with it, and I'm still diving in a little bit more. As time goes on, I'm going to be showing you guys a variety of different guides and eventually do a full case review like I do with most of my bigger games. I just really hope that you guys do enjoy this. Also, we did recently reach 1,000 subscribers, and we are going to be doing a variety of different things for that. I'm also selling merch, so be sure to check out in the link down below in the description. I have a variety of ways of contacting me also for my Q&As I do every 2 weeks, so be sure to check that out as well. So merch link is in the description, and my personal email is in the description, and a variety of other helpful links as well. Anyways, I thank you guys for watching, and I hope to see you guys on the battlefield.